I think that's enough coffee for me.
The Cost of Goods Told podcast is made possible by the following sponsors. Duke's Premium Meats Home Delivery is committed to providing you with the best quality meat delivered right to your door, offering certified Angus beef, grass-fed beef, Wagyu, and many more premium options. Nobody beats Duke's Meats. Make sure to check out all that Duke has to offer at dukespremiummeats.com. Criswell Culinary aims to create a new standard of unique, affordable hot sauces that satisfies the more developed cravings of today. Bernie Brand Texas-style hot sauce is a boldly layered sauce with density and personality to proudly represent Texas. Go to BernieBrand.com to find a retailer near you. That's Bernie, B-O-E-R-N-E, brand.com. 0 Point Organics grows and supplies microgreens for over 30 major restaurants in the Houston area. Consistently perfect quality in flavor and appearance, their microgreens will be the best you or your customers have ever had every single time. Go to pointorganics.com.
Welcome to the Cost of Goods Told podcast. I am Darren Lafferty here once again with Chef Connor Moran. How you doing?
Good. How about yourself, man?
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man. I came back heavier than
you don't look fat at all. I don't believe
man,
that.
Trust me.
Look at me. I got a button-down shirt on. I got to hide all the rolls I can.
I was gonna say you got a shirt from here, and they're looking to upgrade it to a larger size, man.
So I'm glad you mentioned that. We're at Jersey Bagels, their brand new location right off of Huffmeister.
Brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new. Grand opening was last Saturday. They had about a week of soft opening, and I'm still on all your information, but we're joined by Corey and Jacqueline Yates, the owners of Jersey Bagels. Hey, thanks for joining us, guys.
Hey, what's up?
Thanks for having us.
Hey.
I know both of y'all look dead-ass tired.
Corey just got off the block rolling, man.
Jacqueline, you look better than Corey, though, just for the record.
It's always.
But, I mean, yeah, this is one of those businesses, bagels is a tough business because you're in the bread business, and you're baking at night, you're proofing at night, you're rolling at night, and you're getting it all done. So we appreciate your time. That's the point of telling you that. So let's jump in a little bit. Corey, tell us about you. Jacqueline will get you just after that. But tell us about who you are. How'd you get to Houston, and how'd you get into bagels?
Okay. I was going to go ladies first. But
ladies first?
No.
Hey, so you weren't from here, but you learned the Southern charm quick.
Nah, a little bit. No, I was raised old school dad. So
my apologies. No,
it's all right. So I've been here about 8 years.
Okay.
Been here 8 years. I came out here, followed my son. His mom was in the military. She got restationed from New Jersey to San Antonio. And my brother happened to live in Cyprus at the time. And it kind of, for me, it wasn't a question. Like, I just had to find a way to get out here to be closer to my son. So I asked my brother at the time if I could move in with him. He said sure. And that was 8 years ago.
That's a good reason to come, number one.
Definitely. At the time, I wasn't aware of all the great opportunities.
Oh, where'd you move from?
I was living in Pennsylvania at the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I was raised in Maryland. I was living in Pennsylvania at the time and moved out here. So that was 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm here now, slinging bagels.
And not by yourself. Jacqueline, tell us about you.
I've been here for 14 years. I moved here from New Jersey. When I moved out here, I didn't know what a kolache was, and I didn't know why there was a donut shop on every corner.
Being from New Jersey, that explains why the sign says coffee.
Yes,
C-A-W-F-E-E, coffee.
Little pieces of New Jersey all over the shop.
Sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And so why'd you come? What'd you move here for?
So I moved here. My mom moved here first. We had owned a gym in New Jersey, and we closed it down. And she came out here looking at land, and it was cheap, and she was thinking about building one here.
Compared to New Jersey,
she
for sure.
came back showing us what you can get for the houses, and then we all just decided to pick up and move.
Yeah. So literally as an adult, so you've been here 14 years.
Yeah.
You've been here
23.
Yeah.
I moved here. Yeah.
Okay, good.
And we all had kids, and it wasn't the best place that we lived in New Jersey, so we all wanted to give them a better life.
Well, welcome both of you to Texas.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you, and especially now that you're making coffee and good bagels. We're really glad you're here.
No, definitely. We're glad to be here. It was probably a couple months ago. I was telling her I was driving somewhere around 610, and everything's so spaced out here in Texas and Houston, right? So you got to drive everywhere, and I drive around observing and different dynamics and demographics of the area. You got the suburbs, and you got some not so nice parts, and you got all kind of different cultures and backgrounds, and everything is diverse. And I was looking around, and I got home, and I told her, I was like, I finally I feel like I got love for the city. You know, like I'll always be. I'm from Maryland. I'll always be a Maryland boy. I'll never be a Texan. No offense to Texans. That's just me. You know,
honorary Texan.
Right. And I finally got like a lot of love for the city. I was born in Georgia, raised in Maryland, but I feel like Houston has kind of bred me.
So Houston has embraced you?
Oh,
is that fair to say?
Definitely.
I think once you put the sweat equity in too, right? So you've been there 8 years. You've been rolling bagels for many, many years and practicing and selling and working farmers markets. We'll get to all that. But it's good to hear. I think the hospitality is good here. What do you think, Connor?
I think so. I think a lot of people talk about when they come from outside of Houston that, you know, even the restaurant industry has changed, you know. I went to school in Rhode Island where the restaurant industry isn't that way. You know, and then you come to Texas and it's a lot more friendly, and especially in the barbecue community. I mean, you've had some interactions with like Eddie O's, and then I think who else was it? It was
Old 300.
Oh no, Solid Oak Smoke.
Solid Oak Smoke.
Yeah.
Evan Reed, Eddie O. Yeah, I had seen those guys, and I didn't know them from Adam, right? So we're a big presence on social media, and I see Eddie O, and I see him slinging his, you know, the barbecue, and I see the passion he does it with, and I see what's behind it, like his family, you know. And when he says it's bigger than barbecue, it's funny because I say it's bigger than bagels, right? It's more than just, you know, putting your food out there. It's the passion in which you do it with. So.
Yeah, and I mean that's what you have to do when you start out. At home doing something, you know. I mean, all of these guys, a lot of these barbecue guys were backyard warriors to start off with, you know. Definitely. I mean, Corkscrew didn't get its success until he had cooked several off of what it was like $100 cooker that he had gotten, you know, and barely could afford
from
that.
Academy, right?
From Academy, picked that up and started cooking on that, you know, and now, you know, you see where he is, you know. And that's the cool thing I think about the restaurant industry and the food service industry in general is it's one of those where you put your head down, you put the work in 90% of the time. If you're doing something right, you can move your way up. Whether you're a dishwasher, you know, and you want to move your way up onto the cook line, or even, you know, what have you, if you're, you know, cooking out your backyard and then trying to move into a trailer and then, you know, brick and mortar.
Speaking from experience, huh?
A little bit. Never quite got to my brick and mortar, but, you know, I'll talk about all that pain leading up to it.
For sure, man. Definitely.
Yeah, so why don't y'all tell us a little bit about how you got started with the bagels and so forth?
Yeah, definitely. So, first, I mean, when it comes to, like, the food and the bagels, the passion for the food, you know, so it's, like, my thing. I mean, she's always loved, you know, food, cooking. She's been a great taste tester.
Family
and stuff. So I grew up with a big family. I got 8 aunts, and every time we got together Sunday, we would watch the Redskins. And we were a little bit better back then, but that's a different story. So we would get together for cookouts, and it was always a good time. And the one thing that was always constant was food. And it wasn't, you know, ordered food. It wasn't food from the neighbor. It was my aunts in the kitchen, putting it together with passion, you know, with their heart and soul. So that was always a constant for me. And I always loved food. And anytime I would go somewhere and eat, it was kind of funny because there's been times where I've eaten places and I've been like, I want to go back in the kitchen and see who this chef is. Like, because you just appreciate someone that cares about their craft, you know? And it's something that they're doing, not for themselves, but for someone else to enjoy.
Sure.
You know, they put their heart and soul out there for you to enjoy, right? So I've always enjoyed that aspect of it because health, I mean, for food, it's an art, it's health, it's culture, it's history, it's a lot of things into one.
People can eat something and like take them back to childhood, take them back to a place that they used to live. And that's my favorite part. When somebody comes in here and like takes a bite and they're like, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm home." It's like that's the biggest thing to me. Like,
we always talk about on the show how food is subjective, and there's an emotional connection to food, right? And that's exactly what you're describing, Jacqueline, is the fact that you take a bite of something, you're like, man, it reminds me of grandma, so that reminds me of home or something else, right? So it's fun. It can be a roller coaster. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it can be fun.
For sure.
So somehow you
So how did we get to this point?
Yeah, you took that passion and you're like, I want to make bagels.
Yeah, so I've always had a dream of working, like owning a food establishment, whether it be a food truck, a restaurant, what have you, right? I always had a dream, or just working in one, cooking, you know? But I remember, so there was a, what's that show? It was Chopped. I think it was Chopped. Or what was the one, they give you a bunch of ingredients, and they're all crazy random
That's
ingredients.
it, Chopped. Yeah, that's right.
So I would do that, like, in the kitchen. I was, like, 20 in my mom's kitchen making a mess, right? So I would pick out, like, 3 or 4 of the most random ingredients and try to whip up something. It was terrible.
I was going to ask you, was it any good?
No, it was terrible.
That gummy bear chili
Would your son eat it?
right,
Would your son eat it? That's the question.
I wouldn't want to feed it to him. But no, I always had a passion for it. But the thing that was behind that was people like, you're not going to make any money unless you're a top chef, right? Or like somewhere up high. So that kind of dulled the passion a little bit, the dream, right? So I met her. When I met her, we had the East Coast connection. I found out she was from New Jersey, and I was like, I'm from Maryland. I went to school in New York.
And y'all met here in Texas?
We met here in Texas, right? And so that's how that kind of kicked off. And I like to work out, and she likes to work out too. So we would go and get a bagel every weekend down at the Hot Bagel Shop off Shepherd.
Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah.
So we would go there every weekend, and then we would go get our bagel and cream cheese, and then we go from there, go to Memorial Park.
But y'all are driving from where to go?
Yeah, so that was the only
so Cypress. So for those outside of Houston, that's a 45-minute drive
about
minimum.
40-minute drive.
Yeah.
So with no traffic, right?
Right.
So we're doing that every weekend, and we'll go work out after that. And it was finally just like, man, one weekend we're just sitting there.
There was like a line out the door every time we were there. It was just like, this would make a killing inside, but there's nothing around here.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were just sitting there, just like. Yeah. Just like this.
Joking.
And she goes, maybe we should try making bagels. So just joking. And like that light bulb, like.
We went home and just like started
That's all you
researching
am I allowed to curse on here?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's your show.
All right.
It's your show, dude.
Yeah, all right. So I was like, holy shit. Like that's it.
That's not cursing on this show. Like, just so you know, like that's mild on this show.
Right.
Chef over here has got the filth mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I was just like,
he was waiting for somebody to break the seal.
There you
go.
I was just like, holy shit. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, there's nothing like this up in Northwest Houston anywhere. So I'm like, okay. So I go home. What's first thing? Google, YouTube, right?
Yeah,
so I'm doing that, and I wish I could show a picture of the bagels we were first making. They're terrible.
My God. We used to knead the dough by ourselves.
Send it to me, and for those who are watching the video podcast, I'll try and put those in there, in the video. So
and it's so funny, too, because the pictures we were taking, we thought we were doing something. Like, I got the angles on them and everything.
The food filter.
Yeah, and they were terrible, right? So, but we were still, I just wouldn't quit. Like, I just knew, like, when people ask, why, I sometimes I can't explain it.
Yeah.
I just really can't. But I just wouldn't quit. I was not going to stop until I made this happen.
So just correct me if I'm wrong. So those who are listening, right? So you already grew up in a family full of food, a family full of people who love to sit together, share food.
Right.
You took that passion.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, y'all came up with this idea around bagels because you both had an East Coast connection.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't find a decent bagel in the area. You didn't want to drive 40 minutes every weekend.
No.
So you literally just delivered upon those ideas and said,
Sure.
we're going to start doing something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
And I had no idea. I mean, I knew a bagel, you boiled it, but I didn't even know you could really hand roll
You
bagels.
weren't making bagels at all.
I didn't know nothing.
You ate bagels. That's all you
2
did.
years ago, I didn't know the first thing about a bagel. I mean, I know how to eat them, but other than that, that's it.
Do you mind telling us what you were doing?
Yeah, so and that's another thing too. You grow up kind of hearing like you gotta have this 8 to 5 or 9 to 5, right? And then you start working in corporate or whatever, and you have these odd jobs. And I've always kind of been a little bit of free spirit, a little bit more on the liberal side. But I wanted to just kind of be me, but I wanted to work hard. Like, I work hard and play hard, right? Yeah. And I felt like sometimes when you work in corporate, they kind of handcuff you a little bit, right? And they want you to be in this box.
For someone who's a free spirit, it feels like handcuffs, no doubt.
A little bit, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
It's like, if I'm working my ass off, like, what's the deal, So I kind of wanted to get away from that. And when the opportunity arose, it was just like, this is it. This is it. And so I jumped on it. Didn't know much about bagels, kept doing the research. Kept trying, kept getting a little bit better, But our big break was she was like, if we're going to be serious about this, she has family back in Jersey. She's like, if we're going to be serious about this, like, we need to go back to Jersey and see. And so she has a cousin, and she asked her cousin if he knew anybody that owned a bagel shop. And he did.
Well, I posted on Facebook first. And I just said, does anybody know? And my friend was like, yeah, I have somebody who is. So basically, the bagel shop that we were supposed to work out, they canceled on us.
They flaked on us.
While we're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, ready to drive, because they didn't want us to steal the recipe. When we didn't want their recipe, it was a husband and wife that did it.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to see what their process was, how they handled it.
Yeah.
But they flaked. So then we're at my cousin's house staying at my aunt's, and my cousin's like, oh, I go fishing with the guy that owns Bloomfield Bloomfield Bagels down the street.
Best Bagels, yeah.
Let me give him a call. He calls him up. He's like, yeah, come on in.
What's the name of it?
Bloomfield's Best Bagels.
Bloomfield's Best Bagels.
Bloomfield's
Man,
Best
that's a
Bagels.
Shout out to
mouthful
them.
right there. Shout out to Bloomfield's Best Bagels.
Definitely.
In New Jersey?
In
Yeah,
Bloomfield,
in
New
Bloomfield,
Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, and he, so I went in. Guy embraced us with open arms. He said, man, you come back in the kitchen. We went back in the kitchen. He showed me around. And I was willing to do whatever, like literally whatever. He said, show up here tomorrow, 3 o'clock in the morning, and we'll go over some stuff. I showed up at 2:55, ready to roll, and it's just me and him in the kitchen.
Yeah.
He didn't give me any recipes. He didn't give me any. He
Just
didn't
technique.
It was just tips, techniques, things I'll need, what to expect, and because he kind of gave me the real part of it, because he said he had done the same thing for a female, another lady that wanted to open a bagel shop, and he said that it was too much for her, right? And so he's just like, look, man, it's a lot, right? So I go there 3 in the morning, and it's me and him in the kitchen for 4 hours, and I'm just sitting there watching him boil bagels, bake bagels, flip the bagels, top the bagels, all that, and we're just talking. So finally, I go back, and I was like, all right, I got it. So we go back, we come back home. I put the new technique in to work. She posted a picture on the Cypress Foodie group on Facebook, and
a bunch of people were like, where'd you get it?
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, but like you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to post your own food on the foodie group,
Oh,
which
is
I
that
did
right?
not know.
Oh, okay.
So people, I was
So he
like, oh, we
deleted
make
it.
them, you can order it. But
Yeah, it
by
was
the
too late.
time they caught it,
Right.
by the time they caught it, I had about 20 people asking me like for orders.
Yeah.
Oh,
So then
awesome.
once we got those orders in, they started posting, and they can post on the foodie
Yeah.
group.
Right.
We just can't. So then
Right.
more people started ordering, and then it was an
Definitely.
everyday thing.
So was this before the farmers markets?
Yes.
You were just making bagels at home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
As many as you could.
Right.
About 100 a day.
then what were you
for
doing with
custom
those bagels?
orders.
Okay,
Like
just
people would order them, so they would say like, I want 6 blueberry.
Okay, all right.
Plain, and then they would come pick them up at the time that we set.
And you were doing that before New Jersey. Then you went to New Jersey.
No.
No, so
we did that
also-
after
Yeah.
we came back.
So
Okay.
it goes shitty bagels, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Good bagels,
Better bagels.
better bagels.
Selling bagels.
Post
Yeah.
on Facebook, and
Yeah.
then at that point when people they saw that, they almost didn't give us a choice.
Yeah.
And it's okay because, like I was telling him earlier, this feels organic. It feels natural.
Yeah.
None of it feels forced. It just like she said, we were talking about it the other day. It feels like what we're supposed to be doing.
Right.
And we do it with passion, and I think that's what people appreciate. But yeah. So then after that, people were like beating down our doors pretty much. Like, look, like this is what we want. So once we saw that, we knew that we had to
Yeah.
pursue it.
Sure.
Like seriously.
Yeah.
And then so after that, we didn't know like much about business. We didn't. So it's like, okay, where do we start? So then we started looking into LLCs, and you got to get your sales and use tax permit, and then all the business
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So after that, we opened up our home business, and thankfully, Texas has a cottage baker's law,
Yeah.
where you can cook out of your house, stuff like bread, no cream cheese and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no meat, but
Yeah. So, but yeah, so we did that, and it kept picking up, and I'm thankful for that because it gave us an opportunity to screw up enough to where we learned.
Yeah.
If we would have gone straight from that to a shop,
yeah.
it wouldn't have been good.
Yeah.
It
Well,
wouldn't have been good.
we talked off mic kind of
Yeah.
about it too, where it's like 10% of running the business is rolling the bagels
Yeah.
or cooking or anything like that. And
Right.
I know you had the chance to kind of watch Technique
Yeah.
in New Jersey. But what I see a lot too is like a lot of the barbecue guys will have people who come in and they'll work with them and possibly go off and do their own thing.
Right.
Like Arash with Aura and Blood Brothers and things like that.
Yeah.
But the main thing that they're learning, you can teach someone how to smoke a brisket, sure.
Yeah.
But all of those other external factors are
Definitely.
ridiculously difficult to learn.
Definitely.
And you got to almost learn by fire, by actually doing it,
Definitely, definitely, man. And baking is sometimes can be so precise and scientific. Certain water temperature,
Sure.
certain amount of yeast, certain amount of sugar, certain amount of salt, certain amount of flour, how long it sits out, the humidity, the
door being open
the
too
door
long.
being open, right? The dough being out, the temperature of your fridge, if your bagel forms a skin on it or not. If it's a lot to it. So I think at first I was like, oh, let's throw it in a bowl, mix it up, good to go. Nah, man. So I learned a lot. I threw a lot of dough in the trash, but I just knew in my head that if I just knew if I could pursue this and make it happen, that it would be huge. Because I'm pretty creative too, so I understand that there's a certain market that wants it simple, but that there's a market that likes to be creative too. So I wanted to kind of appeal to both, and I knew that if I could make it happen, that I could do that. There was nights where we were laying down, and it would be 10, 11 o'clock at night, and almost dozing off. And I just wasn't satisfied. And I would go downstairs, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, and I go down and whip up another batch of dough. Yeah. And she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, it's not good. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. So I would do that, and I'm thankful that I did.
See, that's the stuff that you can't teach. You know, the market guys will talk about it, restaurateurs will talk about it, where it's like, look, I can show you all these recipes, but the tenacity that you have to have, the fortitude that you have to have to go in every day and want to execute to that level.
Definitely.
Is not something I can teach. You know?
Yeah. There was nights, man, sleeping on the couch, like catching an hour or two, going and start baking at 3 in the morning. Definitely.
I'm too old for that shit. I can tell you. Just catch an hour or two.
Yeah.
Best was like in the summertime.
Can you put a zero on the back of that?
And you had the oven on for 8 hours in the summertime in your house. And we would just shut down our AC because there was no point. And we're in there just like boiling,
do-rags on, towel hanging out your back pocket.
People coming in and out, picking them up.
If I could have baked butt-ass naked, I would have. I would have.
Maybe. I don't think I needed that one. No, but you can say it's your show. You can say whatever you want. Okay, Connor, take that part out.
No pictures of that sense.
Yeah, no pictures of that, Jack.
We'll take the shitty bagel pictures.
Oh, man.
So we're going to take a quick break to listen to a word from our sponsors. We'll come back. We'll talk about the progression from the farmers markets or those initial orders to now your brick and mortar.
Definitely.
So we'll be right back from a word from our sponsors, Duke's Premium Meats, Bernie Brand Hot Sauce, and 0 Point Organics.
Hang out for Jersey Bagels.
All right.
The Cost of Goods Told podcast is made possible by the following sponsors. Criswell Culinary aims to create a new standard of unique, affordable hot sauces that satisfies the more developed cravings of today. Bernie Brand Texas-style hot sauce is a boldly layered sauce with density and personality to proudly represent Texas. Go to BernieBrand.com to find a retailer near you. That's Bernie, Boerne, brand.com. 0 Point Organics grows and supplies microgreens for over 30 major restaurants in the Houston area. Consistently perfect quality in flavor and appearance, their microgreens will be the best you or your customers have ever had every single time. Go to pointorganics.com. Duke's Premium Meats Home Delivery is committed to providing you with the best quality meat delivered right to your door. Offering certified Angus beef, grass-fed beef, Wagyu, and many more premium options, nobody beats Duke's Meats. Make sure to check out all that Duke has to offer at dukespremiummeats.com.
Welcome back to the Cost of Goods Told podcast, part 2. And we're still here as we were in part 1. Thank God I hadn't fallen asleep yet with Corey and Jacqueline Yates of Jersey Bagels. Thanks for hanging out, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So, the first part of that was how you guys got to Texas.
Right.
We didn't talk about a lot how y'all met, so y'all are ashamed of that. No, that's cool. No, and then you started making bagels, took your love for food, and jumped into the bagel lane.
Sure.
And cooked out of your home.
Right.
Got to the market.
Right.
Through demand.
Yep.
And here we are sitting inside a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
Jersey Bagels. Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
You look sleepy as hell.
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Full of scotch right now.
Nah, I wish.
Day 4 starts tomorrow, right?
Day 4.
Yeah, day 3.
Day 3,
Day 3 is tomorrow.
After the grand opening.
Yeah, so grand opening was Saturday, soft opening before that.
Yeah.
For
so
sure.
you're figuring things out, right?
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, it's so I was actually sitting here thinking about that while you said that. So a lot of this is self-taught. All of it's self-taught, bagel-wise. And I think it kind of gives me an advantage because it leaves the possibilities open, endless, right? I feel like if you're taught a certain way, it kind of makes you like have tunnel vision, like, okay, this is how I have to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Me, I had no idea, so I'm doing whatever, right? So, yeah, I taught myself all that. I don't even know where I was going.
How long? So how long was the journey from kitchen?
Yep.
Baking bagels naked.
Yeah.
To sorry, get that.
I like
out.
that. I'm gonna get that Instagram
Bacon
handle,
bagels, bacon bagels naked.
Yeah.
Corey Yates.
Yeah.
To getting the demand on farmers market where I came out and 30 minutes before you're open, the line's down the street.
Yeah.
To how long is that time frame from there to here?
I want to say we made bagels in the house for about a year.
Yeah.
And then we know for sure because we started in November last year.
No, it wasn't a year because I'm sorry to cut you off. It wasn't a year because this hasn't been going too. We were like a year at the market.
We were definitely.
So it's probably about 8 months at the house.
Yeah.
And then a year at the market, and then now we're here.
Yeah.
It's something to grow. I mean, go ahead.
My memories today. Somebody like screenshotted it.
Facebook.
Yeah, and we were like popped up in a church parking lot, and there was like a thunderstorm going on, and like the customers were holding down the tent as we served the bagels, and then we put up another tent just for all the customers to gather in while we sold.
That's
it was
cool.
a mess, but
that's really
like
cool.
a year ago today.
It is. And that's the one thing. I did another interview the other day, and the lady asked me, like, what's one thing you want people to know? And so this past couple weeks been very emotional. I'm sure the lack of sleep has a lot to do with it. But it's been very, very emotional. And it just kind of all comes to a head. And just thinking about, like, just the community, you know? We couldn't possibly do this without the community.
Sure.
What she's talking about, we did a pop-up at a church. And at the church that day, it was raining. Like, it wasn't like just raining. It was
like
raining. It was Texas, Houston raining, right? And there's rain hitting us in the leg. It was crazy.
Coming from the side,
everywhere.
coming from the
and
bottom.
then where we parked, it was a big puddle. Like, it wasn't a puddle when we got there, but it was a puddle. So we're all just walking in water, just right where our tent was. Here it was dry, there it was dry, but all of our feet were soaking wet.
So we got home. I got home. My mom helped out. I got home, and I looked at my mom, and I'm like, Mom, like, I don't get it. That's what I told her. I was like, I don't get it. You know, I understand that there's a need and a demand for it, and our product's pretty good, but I don't get it. And I think at the end of the day, people feel an energy about us. I think people appreciate and respect our passion.
Yeah.
I think I know what I go through. I know the sleep that I don't get. I know what the hours that I put in. I know the amount of bagels I roll, and I know how much attention to detail I have and that I care about. And that's fine. Not everybody doesn't need to know that, but I think people can sense it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think people feel it, and I think that's why we have that following.
Do you think? And so we'll tackle a couple of things, some hurdles that you had to go through. That other young entrepreneurs, young business owners, and people who just strive to have a business, what those are. But based on the comment you just made, do you think people even give a shit about all the trouble you go through? They just want a good bagel.
Sometimes I wonder, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when I post certain things, I'm very transparent, really connected to social media and the community, and that's just me.
Yeah.
That's just how I'm real. I try to be just me.
Yeah.
But sometimes I wonder, like I post something, I'm like, man, just make bagels, dude. Like, shut up.
Well, there's a real sense of humbleness though about you. I mean, there's a real sense of you give a damn, you want to be better.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen it in the short time that I've known the two of you, that you're striving for something better each time. But but there's the group of foodies that care about the food. There's an older group of people, probably like myself, that care about the story, where it came from. I want to give that guy, that girl a hug in the kitchen that made that badass donut. I mean, that's how I am. I'm like, you just touch my heart. Let me give you a hug for something like that. Definitely. And then there's people that just want the food.
Right.
And so I think you guys, it seems like you found a good space where people know you well.
Right.
Being in one of the Facebook clubs, food groups. And there's people out here who are like, I don't care if there's a 6 bagel maximum. I want 18. Give it to me. Right? So you're always going to have that, right?
Yeah, there's all kind of people. But I just try to connect with people.
Yeah.
And when people come in, like, I always hated those cookie cutter businesses with those generic responses. I always hated that. I don't have to be obnoxious, and that's kind of, you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I just want to be real with you. I want to talk to you like I'm talking to you, Darren.
Sure.
I don't want to talk to you like I'm a business talk. I'm another human being. Yeah. We all feel the same things. We all do the same stuff. I'll go through the same, like, similar situations, right?
So what are those situations? What are some of the hardest things you've had to tackle? You've survived them, but what are some of the hardest things you've gone through from kitchen, right, to now kitchen?
Yeah.
That you could share.
We talked about it, like, this isn't the movie Chef. Like, obviously, it's like, oh, it sounds great. Part 1 sounds really good. Right. Like, hey, we just started making bagels at home, and we were baking naked, and then farmers market, and now we got
how the kid was conceived.
Yeah. And now we have brick and mortar. But I'm sure along the way, I know that y'all had, if you don't mind me speaking a little bit about it, was y'all had either a GoFundMe or one of those types of programs where you were trying to raise funds for either a food truck or a brick and mortar, and you know, you had an update where you were, you know, talking about it, you know, very frankly on Facebook, which was really cool to see, you know, going back and looking at that and kind of seeing that timestamp where it's like, hey, look, we may not hit our goal. Right. We're going to make adjustments. We're going to do things. That's a shot in the gut for anybody who's trying to build something. Right. You know, and if you don't mind talking about that, you know, I'm sure our listeners would, you know.
Like, we weren't born rich. Like, we don't have, like, oh, hey, we just have all this money.
And isn't it funny? Like, people are like, what's taking so long? Like, when we're at the house, they're like, just open a shop. And it's like, oh, okay, let me just write it down. Like, come on, man.
Like, we sold our house to do this.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Like, we put it all in. I mean, cashed out 401k.
So the house you were making bagels in, you no longer live.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if like people go to that house. Like, what house did we buy?
Where's the bagel shop? It's not here anymore. So you sold that house to take the equity out.
We sold the house. We used the equity. She cashed out her 401k. Her mom helped out a little bit, and we got a little bit of help from the bank.
We got a business loan, and I mean the place that gave us the loan, they've never done a small business restaurant before. But they like came and checked it out, and they like saw our vision. And it was a little bit of a long part. Like we were like, okay, is this happening? Do we need to look somewhere else? Like it kept like prolonging. But they gave it to us, and it was like we appreciated that so much that they took that.
So was that one of those hard things? I mean,
it was definitely. So to speak on the challenges, I mean, we're talking a lot about business and bagels and stuff, but on a more personal level, we definitely had some personal challenges. I think when I met her, so backstory, you know, my dad was super strict, and I love him. He raised me, you know, but I just went through a lot of things growing up, and it still sometimes affects me still to this day. And so those negative things in my life played out in my relationships with her, my relationship with people, my relationships at work. And luckily I met someone that's patient. None of this, like I make the bagels, I do the food, but none of this is possible without her.
Sure.
So we went through some personal stuff, personal struggles, and we still have some issues we got to work through. So that was on a personal level. So we have that, and then you got trying to be a father, and she's trying to be a mother, you know, to her son. And I'm trying to play stepdad, and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, you know? And just different dynamics. I was raised strict. She was raised real lenient. So then you have that, and then you mix in a business, and then you mix in what you want to do as a career, and you still got to try to, you know, be.
You want to see how strong your marriage is? Start a business together. Right. Thankfully, a lot of things we have the same vision on. As far as like the aesthetics of it. But then there's some things, like when we're both exhausted, we have to remember like don't take that out on each other. Like we're both physically, mentally exhausted on a few hours of sleep. And it's like, but you still got to be kind to each other and like, you know.
It's easier said than done.
As y'all are both describing that, I think to myself, you know, look, my wife and I have a great relationship, right? But we also have our own struggles, but we have a separate career. We get to go away for 8 hours at a time. We get to come back. We may or may not talk about the day. We sit down and have wine. We sit down and have some food. Black box wine on top of that. So it's terrible, but we have it, right? But then, if you had to work together all day or you start a business together, there's no escape.
No.
So it only intensifies, right?
No.
Like, even if I'm mad at you, I still got to come to work with you the next day.
My only escape was just walk outside for a minute. No. But there was definitely a few times. It was definitely real tough, man. It was real tough. But then you have, so that's the personal level to it. And then you have the food side of it. For me, personally, like, when we flew back to New Jersey, we scoured the whole area, researched as many bagel shops as we could, and I know what a bagel looks like a New York, New Jersey version of a bagel, right? Hand-rolled, boiled, nice and big. I know what that looks like. So I come out here, and we expand to a commercial kitchen. At the commercial kitchen, they have convection ovens, right? And so I tried doing these convection ovens, and they come out okay. They come out good. And I knew that I could not continue to put that product out there and have that product with that lack of quality tied to our business name. Right. So it's either we're going to do it the right way or we're not going to do it at all. And the convection oven is just a different heating process. The bagels are just turning out different sometimes. I mean, they taste good, but the texture, the size, just the temperature, it was frustrating. Like, very frustrating for me. And then you got to take those bagels, and then you got to put them in these bins. And then you got to put the bins out in the humidity and the heat, and you're stacking
People come
them,
in here
like,
now, they're like, these are better than the market. I'm like, yeah, they're not sitting in a bin in the summertime.
Yeah, like I told you. So that was another frustrating part, and then people are like, oh, sometimes people are so nice, right? Like, Darren, I think that if I ask you your honest opinion, I would like to think that you would give me your honest opinion, right? Because it's only going to help me grow.
Yeah.
Right? But there's some people that are so nice and they're scared to be honest that they're like, oh, no, it's good, it's great, it's good. And I'm like, no, it's not. Shut up.
Shut up, buy another bagel.
Yeah. So that was another hurdle. That was another struggle.
Yeah. So getting honest feedback.
For sure.
I mean, it sounds like you're always welcoming constructive criticism.
Oh, definitely.
Right? So you can grow from it, you can get better.
Yeah. Definitely.
But honest feedback, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No, I'll go. So when people are eating, they'll sit around here, eat bagels and stuff, and I'll go and ask them, like, well, what'd you get? How was it? And the only thing I want to know is, what can we do better? That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, it's good. Sure, I'm glad. Thank you. That makes me feel good. But what can we do better? I asked them if there's anything about this bagel and cream cheese or sandwich right now that we could do better. Please let me know. Mm-hmm. That's all I want to know. That's all I care about.
That's funny, because that's almost like chef complex, where like even compliments are null and void.
Yeah,
like all I want to focus
cool.
on is the negative things and the things that I can improve on. You know, and it's like that's such a chefy thing to say. That
that's just how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was the process like? Going from, building up the brick and mortar, because, what was it? This space became available, and then when did the process start for y'all?
So Karen Sharp, she's our small business advisor at Lone Star College. Thankful for her. And she knew the lady that owned this. This used to be Big B Coffee. And she knew that we were trying to grow. She knew that we kept growing. And she got in touch with me. She goes, hey, the lady at Big B Coffee is going to sell the spot, or, she's done with it. Maybe you want to go check it out. I'll come here, check it out, and it's a little tight, and I just know the size of the equipment we need. I think a little bit of it was fear, right? A little bit of it was fear. So I get here, and I'm looking around, and I'm like, all right, that looks cool. And I get home, and I talk to the wife, and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, right? I don't know if it's going to work. So
there was also a wall that went through the kitchen, so it made it look like even tighter and smaller.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of days go by. And I used to listen to, I still sometimes listen to motivational stuff. Mm-hmm. Like all the crazy people, David Goggins and all those crazy guys. So I listen to that stuff.
David Goggins, shout out.
He's psycho. He's good though. But yeah, I listen to all those guys in the morning. I would listen to it while I was baking at home. And I just listen to it. And it's like, you know what, man, if you're going to do it, just jump. F it, just jump, man. Like, if you're going to do it, because for me, a lot of the personal pain I've gone through is the what ifs. I had a full scholarship for football. I was the first person in my family, first scholarship. Never did anything bad in high school. I was golden boy. And then I get to college, and I get into drugs, get into partying, get into girls, and then I rehab, jail, and it goes all downhill. So then it's like, and then you lose the faith of your family. And then you see the pride that your family once had in you steadily go down. And it hurts. Yeah. Bad. It hurts bad. Sure. And you lose the support. So I knew that, like, I didn't want to feel that what if again. And I knew that I would do anything I had to do to take advantage of this. So finally, I talked to her one day, and I was just like, screw it, let's do it. We'll find a way. Let's figure out, let's do it. So from there, you start to lay out, what you want your shop to look like. And then we just brainstorm. And then
we had the shop for months before we were doing anything with it.
6
Just because we wanted it.
No, it's probably a good location. You got high school right there, hospital.
Hospital down the street.
Right down the street.
Apartments, houses.
Yeah, so we paid for about 5-6 months. I'll take that, $12,000-$15,000 loss if that means more on the back end.
Right.
Sure.
So, yeah. So that was that. We reached out to some contractors. Some of them stiffed us because we're the little guy, And luckily we got with Wamhoff. Wamhoff Design Build. Josh Carr, Greg Wamhoff, man, those guys are awesome. We can't thank them enough for how much they helped us and worked with us. Yeah. We told them what we want, what we kind of needed, and they took what was existing here, kind of moved some stuff around, made the angled wall.
Yeah. I always heard, like, horror stories about build-outs, but they were – like, everything went so smooth. I'm like, are we just, like, lucky? Like, what is going on?
Maybe, because, I can't tell you the number of times the small guys have said, hey, I got my hood vents set up.
Yeah.
Then halfway through, they just took that second check, and they were gone.
Yeah.
I've heard get them. I was like, what? They still got to put in the Ansel system. They still got to freaking cut the roof. And none of that's done. And,
all that.
No, ours was really smooth.
That's awesome.
Bad.
Definitely smooth. So then you go from that, and then you got to figure out the funding. Right, so a lot of times I tell people when they ask me about funding and the build out and all that stuff, I say, look, whatever your number is, you might want to add about 10 to 20% to that.
Yeah.
There's going to be something that's going to pop up, you know, and that's what happened to us. So we had a certain number, we went over for sure. But it was just a process, you know. It was cool.
We signed that build-out contract with probably half of the money in our bank.
Oh,
and we're like, we're going to figure this out. All right, we made that first payment. All right, we got to figure out where we're going to get that second payment, though.
Right. Yeah. Build-out was about, just for the build-out, not equipment, build-out was about 100. And we knew, like, we didn't, we had half of that. And we were like, all right, we're going to figure it out, though.
But, like, as soon as it was needed, like, it came through.
Yeah.
So, like, every time, like, once we needed it, like, it came. So it was like, all right, this is how it's supposed to be.
And for those who are listening, when you say it came, does that mean you had investors lined up? Does that mean you had a line of credit at a bank? What does that mean? Because you need 50 grand. That don't just show up.
No.
Right?
So,
there's
like,
planning involved, right?
Yeah. So we had that business loan, but it kept like, oh, okay, well, maybe next week. Oh, it has to go through this final. Oh, we still have to do this. And it was like going through that, and we didn't know, like, is it really going to come through? But then as soon as, like, we had to make the next payment, it came through.
Gotcha.
And then when we need a little bit more, we had an investor, and we just have the one, and she was ready to jump.
Sure.
And then I took some money out of my 401k. Like, it just kept coming through when we needed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for those listening, I mean, when you say, and I know what it means, but for those listening who don't know, right? So younger generations, they don't know what 401k. They don't invest in 401k.
Right.
There's a huge
Invest in your 401k.
But there's a huge penalty to pull out of your 401k early, right?
So-
it's designed so you don't touch it till you're ready to retire. But if you do, there's an early penalty,
So
there's a
where
prepaid
I
penalty.
work at, it was nice. So I started my job when I was like 24, and as soon as I got in, start investing in your 401k. Like, even if it's $50 a paycheck, that stuff's going to build up over time. What my company lets us do is we can take loans from a 401k.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's like a 6%. But, I mean, as you're paying it back, it's going back in. You're still investing.
Right.
So it's not as bad. I don't have to pay the penalty or anything like that. It's just more of a loan against
it's
it.
a loan versus a withdrawal. But my only point of bringing that up, so people who don't understand that, they're like, oh, that sounds easy. Yeah, but you've been saving that money. The government loves to hold your money.
Yeah.
So when you take it out, they penalize you either through a percentage rate or an early withdrawal penalty.
Yeah.
So, and that sucks because then you pay taxes on your own money too.
Yeah, and then you're this is like what I'm planning for retirement. So you're willing to put your retirement up to keep it growing.
And now your retirement is bagels. So
Banking on bagels. For sure. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. And then so the build out's kind of somewhat complete. You know, I know we're only, day 3 in and so forth, but so leading up to soft opening,
Right.
What's going through your head?
What's going through my head?
What's not going through your head?
So,
how about that?
Everything we need.
I'm really honest. I'm going to be really completely honest, man. Some of these menu items, we made pizza bagels at home, but we haven't made a pizza bagel in our oven with it. Yeah. The only thing we knew to do was bagels and cream cheese.
Yeah.
It just happened. Like the night before our grand opening, we're making chicken salad.
Yeah. Everybody
it's on the menu. It's on the menu. We got to make chicken salad.
We got to do it. So so the night before we're making chicken salad. I'm mixing up. I've done lox cream cheese before, but the lox is kind of tricky. There's a couple of different techniques to that. So that was definitely another hurdle. I had 4 fillets in the fridge and doing them all different types of ways, and they all came out like shit.
Throw them all out.
Yeah,
the day before.
Yeah,
it was like 2 days.
It was like a few days before.
Okay, I had time to recover.
That's what I'm saying, man. This is so weird. Like, it's all so weird. I was telling you earlier that, like, some of the equipment, when we're doing the build-out and stuff, the equipment is fitting by inches. Like, the door, when the fridge door opens, it goes, like, an inch underneath the vent hood. Like, it almost feels like it's just, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is just what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, the locks, our locks was screwed up. I had 3 days to brine the locks before the grand opening. I went and got some fillets. I brined them. Every fillet before that came out like crap or just screwed up. The texture was off. I go get the fillets 3 days before. The morning of the grand opening, I cut it. It's good. It's like
just meant to be. Came together.
It's just it's just weird. And I'm sure we're gonna screw up some things along the way. But
So go ahead.
The biggest thing though, like when you're setting, it's like you don't think of all the little things you need.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So then, like, we're doing this Black Friday, like the whole Thanksgiving. So I'm like, I just need to run into the store and get vegetables, and I'm dealing with everybody who's like buying, shopping for presents. Like, I went out. We're sitting here at 2:00 in the morning. He's rolling bagels. He's like, we should put a TV up there. And I was like
Friday.
joking. I'm like, well, it is Black Friday. He's like, well, you're just sitting here. Go to the store. So I ran at 2:00 in the morning, went to Walmart, bought a TV.
Yeah, CVS down the street. The morning we ran out of eggs, I go and run into CVS. I'm like, you got eggs? She's like, yeah.
Thank God for that 24-hour CVS.
I'm like, all right. I grabbed like 12 dozen eggs, and I'm like, look, I'm not an egg freak. We have a bagel shop. We ran out of eggs. Like, let's go. So
she's thinking you got a house that you don't like that you're about to get.
So it's all worked out great, man.
Would you do it all again?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Through all that exhaustion,
It's
right?
when you think back, like, you don't think how time, like, making bagels, like, it is a lot of time. And then in that commercial kitchen, it was like backbreaking. Like at the end of the shift, like our feet are on fire from carrying those pans because the ovens were across the room. Yeah. And then you got to clean the whole commercial kitchen because those seeds get everywhere. Yeah. It was a lot.
So luckily for us, like when it's our brick and mortar, it's all here, it's set, right? Yeah. So we don't have to bring much equipment, anything like that, right? But at the commercial kitchen, you got to haul your equipment there. And then you got, if you're going to the market, you got to take all your equipment and your product all there. And then you go home, break down, clean it up. It was a process. And that was one day a week, right? Yeah. So, but no, you asked me if I would do it again, without a doubt. And I think for me personally, deep down, like I've always had a passion for changing people's lives or helping people. Like I just want to help someone, right? And I've got goals of buying someone a house in need with the money that we produce here. Once we get out of the red, and and then I've got a dream of opening like a learning center or a youth development center.
Just giving back to the community.
I just want to give it back because, I mean, they gave it to us. You know, we couldn't be here without them. You know, and
like for businesses that start with no like support, like I can't imagine doing this and like never having put out a bagel into the community. Right. It's like that support has just driven us. Oh yeah. Where like it took that little bit of fear away. Like you're still fearful, but it made it so much easier. Just all the love that we get.
That grassroots foundation you guys set between selling out of your house, then selling at the markets, then getting the following, then being ingrained in the community, telling your story online so people can connect with you emotionally. No doubt that's going to help drive
people
this business.
Come in here and they're like, oh, I was used to go in your house in your kitchen. I'm like, well, that's so great. Like, it's nice to hear that.
Thanks for supporting us.
Yeah.
Come back every day, please.
They followed our whole thing with us.
Definitely. No, I think what I was getting at though, at the end of the day, like what I've been through personally, the jail part, the rehab part, overdosing twice, flipping a car, going 100 miles an hour, almost dying. I just want people to know that no matter what they go through, if you just don't quit, like if you don't quit and you got to try to stay positive, and you just got to fight, man. You just got to fight. Like, it breaks my heart to see people quit. I know everybody's different, right? But you just got to fight, man. Like, just be a nasty motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And fight sometimes. Like, that's just what it comes down to. Sometimes you'll be down, but if you just don't quit and just fight, that's
I think to your point, there's no doubt, you're 100% right. But people have to first find what they want to pursue.
True.
Yeah.
And find in themselves.
That's true.
And they want to make their lives better. Yeah. And once they find whatever that is, I believe, and I'm sure you do too, they'll fight.
Yeah.
Right. They'll fight like it's for their own life. You know, I think who E.T. says, E.T., you know,
Eric Thomas.
Yeah. When you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, you'll win. Yeah, right. Sure.
Finding bagels and so forth, and rolling it and everything that you've been through. I think some people think, especially in like the food service industry, because they see it like on TV and they see, you know, all these different shows and so forth, that like, oh, every day you're inspired and every day it's, you know, like great, you know, and I want to tell people it's almost like a professional athlete, you know, it's like you don't get here without hours of grinding it out, whether it's freaking working on a drill that you don't give two shits about, or like, you know, hitting the gym at 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're not inspired every morning to go up and go do it, you know, but you have to kind of get that mentality. Where does that come from you?
I don't know. I've always been passionate. I've always had just passion. My passion was aimed the wrong directions a lot of times growing up, and that's what got me in trouble. But once I got a control of my passion and aimed it in the right direction with food, with the bagels, it helped. For me, so week one, I was telling you, Darren, week one was brutal. Week 1 was absolutely brutal because rolling bagels is kind of a skill. It takes a good feel. It took me a good, couple weeks and watching YouTube videos and playing around with lots of dough to get it. So I can't expect someone to just come in here, no idea to get so I'm gonna have to be rolling a lot of bagels still.
Yeah.
And then I gotta teach them about the cream cheese, and then I gotta teach them about all the stuff, how to make the sandwich, everything, right? How to bake, boil, all that stuff. So I'm not even gonna lie, man. Week 1 out of 5 days, I probably got 8 hours of sleep. 5 days, I got 8 hours of sleep total.
That's huge.
And
right
it's that killer mentality.
No, it's
that's
crazy. It's huge. If I would have stopped, so I slept in the back of that truck. I've slept back at my desk, and when I caught a couple hours, it got to the point. It was unhealthy. It was definitely unhealthy. There was times I was almost kind of seeing stuff. But I just thought people are it's so funny. They're like, oh, take a break, man, rest, take it, and it's the time is now. You understand? It's now. No, there is no break. No, okay, cool. I'll take a break. Sorry, guys, no bagels today because I got to take a break. Right. No, man, that's not how it works. So I knew that it would get better. The satisfaction of seeing people enjoy our product.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, it's so funny. You get people, like she said, come in here and connect. I'm from Jersey. You're from Jersey?
Oh, yeah. And then where they're from, what town. And it's awesome.
That means a lot.
What exit?
That's exactly, what exit. So
for me, he just motivates me. Because, sometimes I'll get, 3 hours of sleep, and I'll wake up, and I'll be so tired. And I'm like, bitch, he has not even slept. You got to get your ass up and get there. Help him out. Let him go take a rest.
Well, because you have a real job right now. I mean, you have a real job too, Corey, but you have another job.
Yeah.
Outside of this, and then when you get done with that, you're over here, or you're working from here, or you're figuring it out.
I mean, the good thing about my job is, I've done payroll and HR, so I can take from that to bring here for the books, which is a good thing to have.
Yep.
But, it's a lot to come here, do this in the morning, and then I go to work, and then I come back here afterwards, and I help the night crew prep, and it's just every day.
Which you've done before. I've seen you early. I've seen you at 3 in the morning. I've seen you both at 3 in the morning.
Yeah, you were there.
Everybody looks good at 3 in the morning.
Yeah. That was awesome you coming out, man. I appreciate that.
All right.
So we're going into day number 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What's in store? What I mean, I know it's so early for y'all, but I mean, from day 1 to day 3, what are you thinking? What are you trying to achieve? What are you focused on for the future?
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
I've been doing a lot of talking. I'd like for you to, but it's right now. This is perfect because this is the struggle we're at, right? This is where people are probably like, "What? How is?" I got cold. Sorry. So the struggle we're having is a space issue, right? So like I said, with the limited space we have, the fridge can only hold 1,400 bagels per day, right? At this moment, I would literally kill myself if I rolled 1,400 bagels a day and still try to do that. So we only roll about 800, 900, For tomorrow, I got 1,000 in there. I'm getting a little bit better. So you get the struggle of, do you not put a limit on the bagels, and then you sell out super fast, and then some people down the road don't get them? Or do you put a limit on the bagels so everybody can get some, and then some people don't understand, right? We obviously got a great thing going, and we were meeting with our investor yesterday, just trying to think about the future. Whether that be bringing someone down from New York, New Jersey that knows how to roll bagels. Because at the end of the day, I got to duplicate myself, I can't be here all the time. I mean, I can, but I can't continue to do the bagels and all that stuff. Or do we knock out one of these bathrooms, move it up, make some more space back there, which is, more capital you need. So we're having a few hurdles, but the good thing is they're good struggles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, good challenges to have.
Yeah, they're good. Yeah, they're good struggles. So so once we figure that out here in the next week or two or a couple weeks, we'll go from there. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we're just blessed. I mean, we have, like I said, the problems we have are good problems. That's just it's still a challenge.
So why import a bagel roller from New Jersey, New York, East Coast when you can pull from a bagel shop here?
I really don't know if anybody's rolling bagels here.
Yeah, they do it with the machines. I don't know any here that hand roll. It's all machines. But if you go in Jersey, bagel shops, there's a guy just still authentically hand rolled.
Okay.
So I want to post all over the place and just throw it out there. Is there any actual experienced bagel rollers in the city?
And I know y'all probably don't have time to do that because when you're doing market research early on, right? You're visiting every bagel shop you can get into. Do you even have time to go look anymore? Like, hey,
right now?
Because you don't want to advertise that you're looking for a hand roll. I mean, you do, but you don't.
Yeah.
Right? But at the same time, do you have time to go undercover and go to the bagel shop and sit? And
I did before. I don't know. So it's like, I know what the other people that own the shops look like. So if they came in here, that's cool. They're welcome.
Yeah.
We respect all. I mean, there's enough success to go around, right?
Sure.
So there's never going to be a time where I'm like, don't come in here.
Yeah,
You know, and everybody has different tastes and likes. And so some people will like hot bagel shops. Some people will like New York bagel. Some people will like Golden Bagel. Some people will like Bagel Cafe. I don't know any bagel spots. I'm just naming them off. But.
Yeah.
Never been to any of those.
I'm not an unlicensed private investigator at all.
Or Abby's Cafe is another one. But earlier, I went around and looked at all of them, scoped it. I feel like you have to.
Of course.
You almost have
That's
to.
smart.
Yeah, so, but yeah, no, if we went now, I don't know if we have the time to, but yeah.
Because, like, the future to us is not this store.
No.
Like, we
Not
want
only
multiple
this
stores.
So that's the
around
future. The
That's
future is 2, 3, 4, 10, 20
If they can have a
stores.
Jersey Mike's in New Jersey, then we can have a Jersey Bagels in New Jersey. Like, one day.
That would be sweet, wouldn't it?
Right.
To take it all the way back.
It would. It would. The challenge is, though, it's just the hand rolling part. It's such a when we were building the business and we came up with the logo. I think our logo is pretty sweet, and it's a big positive for us. But I remember when we were building the logo, and I put in there authentic hand rolled.
Yeah.
And
I was like, if we do that,
you're stuck.
We gotta stay with that.
We're sitting on it. We're sitting on the bed on the laptop on Vistaprint, and we're going over the logo. And I'm like, authentic hand rolled. And I look at her, and I'm like, you know what this means, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, that's it, though. I just feel like it adds more. I got the window over there so people can see me rolling the bagels.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that adds that touch to it. Right?
I saw it when I pulled up. I saw you. Right there. I was like, that's awesome. That you want to have that transparency with people.
Sure.
This isn't bullshit on the logo. And people will call you out too if you if you all of a sudden have that machine back there. They'll be like, wait a second, you said hand rolled.
Yeah.
Well, there's too much technology available. Everybody has an iPhone or Android or something they can shoot a quick video with. They see the machine back there pumping out and be like, that'll be on the internet everywhere.
In a second, right? So, yeah.
So for the present and now, where can people find you? What's the address here?
All right, we are located 9522 Huffmeister Road. It's on the corner of Huffmeister and Tuckerton. It's in the same shopping center as Catfish Station, Subway. Yeah, Mr. Donuts right beside us. It's across the street from Cy Falls. We got Bluefish Pediatrics right here. So they're doing a little construction right there.
What are your hours?
Our hours are 6 to 2. We're closed on Monday, but our hours are scheduled from 6 to 2. But we go basically 6 to sell out, which at this rate, it's been about 6 to 11 o'clock ish.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's getting a little bit better. I don't know if we'll ever make it to 2 with bagels still. We'll see.
I don't know if donut shops ever make it to 2 either, right? Unless you're like a Shipley's. But the independents, we close at 2. They close when they're out. They're out.
Yeah. So it's frustrating for some people, but I mean, it is what it is.
It's hard because we want to serve her, and then like we're here cleaning up, and people, but you said 2, and it's like, sorry. But like you feel bad.
We don't have anything to sell.
I'm like looking in the bag. I'm like, we don't have anything in the bag.
Well, I think if you're talking about hand rolled and something that's labor intensive, it's just like barbecue. I hate to keep referencing barbecue, but there's so much similarities from the hours that you're working to one person. I mean, it's not sustainable to be the only guy rolling. It's not sustainable to be the only pit master at your shop. But you got to do it. You got to grind it out until you find that second you. You know how hard it is to find a second you who can put up with you. I mean, I don't even like myself most days of the week. So it's like you.
And barbecue, it's like you only have a certain amount of product. Like some people are like, well, just go make more. It's like, well, these had to sit for 2 days. If you make it, you can't just boil them and bake them. It's not going to come out right.
It's a widget. Just go do more. Push the button. Make it happen.
Luckily, most people understand. I mean, you still get those one-offs that are like, what? Like, what? No, so it is what it is.
Now, what about Instagram and Facebook?
What's our IG? At Jersey Bagels TX?
Yep.
Facebook is
Jersey Bagels.
/ Jersey Bagels.
People can Google, too.
So another part of me being transparent in this, I mean, I don't really care. I'll put my cell phone number. If you want to shoot me a text, 570-850-5030. A lot of times, probably don't call the shop while we're pumping in the morning because it's loud and my face is in the oven. I'm probably not going to pick up the phone. But if you shoot us an email, Jersey Bagels, where is that? JerseyBagelsTX@gmail.com. I was probably talking away from the mic. Jersey Bagels. JerseyBagelsTX@gmail.com. But yeah, man, people still call me on my cell phone. Hey, are you guys
my bad.
open?
Hey, my bad.
Yeah, so I mean, if people, like I said, man, if people want to reach me, they know where to find me. I'm up here 90% of the time. I've been home.
Yeah.
I don't even. What's home?
I feel like we just go there to shower.
He knows his address better than he knows the home address.
Yeah. So just find me here. Shoot us a text, message on Facebook. We'll gladly help you out.
Well, man, it's been a real joy to watch you guys come through the process.
Thanks.
Number one. I mean, I've been there when you guys are setting up tents at the farmers market.
Yeah.
Right.
Was it Bridgeland?
Mm-hmm.
Bridgeland, Tomball, one of them.
Yeah, Bridgeland. People are lined up, which speaks for itself. I took a bunch of bagels home.
Yeah.
Devoured them.
Yeah. Bridgeland. It was Bridgeland.
Devoured them. My family didn't get any. They were all mad at me for it. But it is what it is. You know, that's what one of the barbecue. And I shared this with you the other day, but. The barbecue community has a saying too, and it was started by John Brotherton in Pflugerville. It says, "Show up late and lose weight."
Yeah,
they have that sign.
He said it the other day.
And, you might need to adopt that.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on the
and
window.
Then author John Brotherton, just give him credit.
I'm gonna do that. Hey, before we get out of here though, and I'm sure there's some people I may forget, but there's in the restaurant industry, there's it's kind of funny. You see some people, if we're just being honest, you see some people envious. And that is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And we try not to be, assholes. We're not cocky like that or anything like that. We're still, go talk to people. But there's been 2 people that I can name off the top of my head that have been supportive from day one, and that's Mikhail at Nom Nom Cafe in Fairfield, and that's Caroline Cobell from Caroline's Healthy Eatery and Caroline's Kitchen in Tomball.
Yep.
Those 2 people, and there's more, I'm sure. And we're gonna do a little thank you video to appreciate people and what they've done. But in the restaurant industry, off the top of my head, those 2 people, man, like we love them and we appreciate them just for the support. Like they didn't look at us any different when we were in our house than they do now. Right? We're just people to them. So
it's funny when people are like, "Oh, the way you guys planned this worked out great," and I'm like, "You think we planned this? We didn't plan this at all."
You're right. That is the way we planned it.
Exactly.
Now I have a book to sell you.
Don't you wish you were as smart as us, right?
For sure. But also you too, Darren. Like you coming out doing the pictures, man. Other people shooting pictures for us. You got Butch Stevens shooting pictures. Yeah, man, it's just people that want to give back and help out. It's I don't know, it's humbling.
Well, it's easy though. It's easy to support a couple, an individual that you can see the passion, feel the passion, and understand what they're going through. And so that's been easy, right? So the first time we met, it was easy to understand what the goal was, how you want to get there. You didn't really know it was going to be a zigzag process, but you guys are there. And so congratulations for busting your ass and working hard and sacrificing and being comfortable. Being uncomfortable, right? A lot of people will never be comfortable being uncomfortable, and so they won't grow like you guys have grown. And I think
you're not scared.
Yeah,
you're not doing something because it's scary.
I think I heard something. There's no growth in comfort, and you can't be comfortable with growth. Something to that.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
But it's it's a bunch of words put together, but it's so true that as long as you're sitting in your little happy spot. Not a lot's going to happen. So, congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys having
We really appreciate y'all coming on and being so open and honest. I know we've had a lot of guests who have been open and honest, telling their true stories. We appreciate that like crazy. Y'all sharing that, and I know a lot of our listeners are going to have something that they can take away, no matter what industry they're in. So thank y'all again. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Shout out to our sponsors, Duke's Premium Meats, Bernie Brand Hot Sauce, and 0 Point Organics for always having our back. And that's wrap up another episode of Cost of Goods Sold podcast. Thank you, Jersey Bagels.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Like and subscribe. 5 stars, 5 stars.
The Cost of Goods Told podcast is made possible by the following sponsors. 0 Point Organics grows and supplies microgreens for over 30 major restaurants in the Houston area. Consistently perfect quality in flavor and appearance, their microgreens will be the best you or your customers have ever had every single time. Go to zero-pointorganics.com. Duke's Premium Meats Home Delivery is committed to providing you with the best quality meat delivered right to your door. Offering certified Angus beef, grass-fed beef, Wagyu, and many more premium options, nobody beats Duke's Meats. Make sure to check out all that Duke has to offer at dukespremiummeats.com. Criswell Culinary aims to create a new standard of unique, affordable hot sauces that satisfies the more developed cravings of today. Bernie brand Texas-style hot sauce is a boldly layered sauce with density and personality to proudly represent Texas. Go to BernieBrand.com to find a retailer near you. That's Bernie, Boerne, brand.com.